What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RightTurnRandy's channel. The sun is out, the snow is melted. This is the second video of prepping the Tide car to go to the Brickyard. So let's go inside and show you guys what I've got going on. It's March now. We're gonna do the windshield, the wideband O2 sensor, and we're gonna tune the car. We're gonna start with the windshield, and then we'll get to installing the O2 sensor. So here we have the windshield. It's held in by these Allen-headed bolts and tabs. It's got this black window sealant on it, but it's already cut because this window's been out already. Even before I got the car, it had been out. There's a stamp right up here. It says, made from genuine Lexan sheet, and that's 5-star stock car bodies. So to get this window out, you just gotta pull all these tabs off, and then these have Zeus fittings on them. You just put a flat blade screwdriver in there, pop those out. Once those come out, the whole windshield just slides right out of these metal slats. And then first thing we're gonna do is clean it up, and then I've got a plan for polishing it. So the whole window feels pretty good, except for there's a little bit of sort of a residue on here. Turns out you can use mineral spirits to clean Lexan, or polycarbonate anyway. So I've been going over this with just a little bit of mineral spirits, and it seems to be taking off that haze. So all of that oily residue has gone off the inside of the windshield, and the inside of the windshield, I can feel it. It's like, it's smooth as glass. So I'm not gonna need to do anything with it, except for these little parts right here, but these are covered up by the bands that go across the front of the windshield, so I'm not worried about that. So let's flip it over and see what we can do the other side. Oh yeah, this side feels a lot worse. It feels like it has dust and sand on it, but it doesn't. So I'm thinking I can use some of this Meguiar's polish, Plastex, and go over this area with the black here after cleaning it real good and see if I can't polish this out, because it looks like it says this is not for use on coated plastics, and I don't know if that applies here, but it does seem like there's a coating on here. So I'm going to test it in this area where the black is. It should make all these imperfections real easy to see, and I'm going to see if I can't clean it up and polish it out. So we'll start with a little bit of mineral spirits. Here, oh my goodness. Oh, this looks messy already. Oh, it's getting everywhere. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's warm. It's really warm. It did do some polishing, but there's this coating and you can see it. I might have to sand down the whole window to get all that coating off. I've got my quarter sheet sander with some 1200 grit, and I'm gonna go to work on this a little bit and see if I can't get that a little bit smoother. That's scary because it looks so bad. Oh, what? Oh, dude. Oh, that's crazy. That looked so bad. It looked like I ruined the windshield, like fully ruined it. So this has still got a little bit of mineral spirits left on it. Paper towel here. Get the mineral spirits off. Okay, yeah, it clouded right back up again. Oh my gosh, that feels so smooth. That feels so smooth. It feels like almost like the inside of the window. Wow. All right, let's hit it with the polish again and see if we can't get that really glassy. Oh my gosh, the difference is incredible. I wish you guys could feel this. The difference between this and this right here is insane. This feels like glass. This literally feels like glass right here. I'm confident that that's gonna do the trick. I mean, it looks a little cloudy from here, but maybe if I go over it with the other polishing pad, because there's another one that's a black one that's even finer than this. So I figure if I just do it in those 3 steps, we'll do 1200 across the entire thing, and then we'll do the blue pad across the entire thing, and then we'll hit it with the black, and I think it should be super clear. This stuff, which is gloss clear, Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch, also bonds to plastic. This is essentially spray acrylic. Maybe if I sanded that, and then rather than polishing it, if I sanded it and just hit it with a little bit of this acrylic, that might clear it up too and turn it into like a glassy finish. I'll try that on the other side of the windshield, maybe over here. I'll sand this up, then once the coating's off, I'll tape it off and I'll hit it with a little bit of this and see if this really clears it up. And I might just do that. I could probably, well, I might be able to do that across the entire windshield. It says it has acetone in it, which I know you're not supposed to use on polycarbonate. So we're just gonna hit it with a light coat right here, and I don't want any hard edges, so I'm not putting tape or anything on there because it's just an experiment. So I'm gonna hit it a little bit with this and okay. All right, so just looking at this, I can tell that it is not gonna do what I want. The finish is clear, but it's really wavy, so I'm gonna go ahead and just try to clean this stuff off. If we can polish it with all the other stuff, I think it's gonna come out really good just with the polish, so I won't need any kind of coating on it. It's so easy to scratch and score now because the acetone that was in that paint is just eating the polycarbonate, the plastic. So I'm gonna have to go back over this, and we'll do it just by sanding it. I kind of went to town on this whole black area under here, trying a bunch of different stuff. I went all the way down to 500. 500 that's too coarse. I end up with a bunch of like swirl marks. 1,000, 1,200 will knock down all of the little pits. So the best I've gotten so far is sort of this area right here. Down here, this I only hit with 1,200 right here, and then hit it with the polish, and this has come out the best so far, the clearest. See, this is where I went with the 500 pretty deep, and it's looking nasty. I haven't done anything to this area right here, just so I have a reference. But over here, it feels really smooth over here, but you can still see all of the little imperfections. In the middle, it feels like sandpaper in the middle, and then over here, it's nice and smooth, but it's not as smooth as over here. This I hit with 1,200 and then hit with the polish. This I just hit straight with the polish, and I can feel all of those pits still. But over here, they feel like they're much, much less. So I'm gonna go over the entire windshield with 1,000 grit. Then I'm gonna go over the entire windshield again with 1,200 grit. I don't know how I'm gonna do it with the polish. I may just go a section at a time, but I'm gonna put in the work over the next few days and work on it maybe like an hour a day, a couple hours a day, and just take my time and really polish the whole thing up. I'm not gonna do a time lapse and bore you with that though. So when this is all done, I will take it out into the sunlight and you guys can see the difference. So it's the next day and thought I had a plan. I went and I started wet sanding the clear area with 1,200 grit and just scratched the crap out of it. So that was a big mistake. I'm gonna go up to the hardware store, see if I can't find something like 2,000 to 3,000 grit sandpaper, and then come back, test it some more on this right here. I'm gonna try and see if I can get this just crystal clear, and whatever works on that area right there to make it crystal clear, I'm just gonna do it across the entire windshield. But no more experimenting on the clear stuff until I figure out what the hell I'm doing, because I have no idea what I'm doing. This is all an experiment to me. There might be some of you guys in the comments that have polished plastic before and have been watching and going, no, don't do that. But, you know, what are you going to do? What's done is done, but it'll still get polished out. I mean, it's not like there's no plastic left. It's just going to be more work. So I'm going to go to the hardware store, see what I can find, and come back. And it's going to take a long time, I think, but I'm going to get this windshield done eventually. Well, I was about to go into town, and I went into the house, and I realized that I had this giant bag of baking soda. And I thought baking soda is an abrasive. Like, why don't I give that a shot? So I came out here, and I put some baking soda and water on the pad that I was using with the polish. And just started going to town, and this is the area over here. Well, this is all the baking soda residue from it flying all over the place, but this is around the area where I was sanding. All the scratches and marks in here, just how sanded it is. And then that's the area that I was using the baking soda on. I'd be happy if the whole windshield looked like this, I think. At Sam's Club, I think I paid $8 for that whole bag or something like that. And water is free because my well just pumps that up straight out of the ground. So I'm going to do the whole windshield with baking soda and water. I've been wet sanding this with 2500 and I can feel it's getting a lot smoother. I'm gonna go over it just a few more times and get the rest of that clear off of there. And then I'm gonna go over it with maybe the wheel and some baking soda and water. And that should get all of, well, most of the scratches out from the 2500 grit. So I think I'm pretty good on the wet sanding so far. There's still a lot of these little pits in there, but it's mostly smoothed out, it feels like. So I'm gonna go over and rinse it off and take a look, see what it looks like now. See, I'm not quite through that clear coat yet. I am in a few spots, like right here. I thought those little tiny pits were just when it was almost done, but it's not almost done. I was just barely starting to get through. Okay, so I've been going sick on this thing. This is 2500 grit and then the blue pad with baking soda. You can see some fine scratches up and down and some even super duper fine scratches left and right, if you really look close. But this to me is acceptable. I think that's clear enough that I could drive through it without much of an issue at all. This is with the protective coating sanded off, 2500. You can see there's still a bunch of protective coating on the top because they didn't quite get all the way to the top there. So you can see a little bit of the coating that's there. I don't know what the coating was, but it was a scratch resistant coating and it was pretty good at resisting scratches, that's for sure. So this is with all the coating sanded off, and then this is with none of the coating sanded off. But you can see where the clear coat has all kinds of low spots and pits and stuff. And this, when you drive this into the sun, it's just absolute murder on your eyes. You can't see anything. But you can see over here, this has hardly been touched by anything at all. I didn't do any experimenting on this or anything, so you can see how bad that is with that clear coat flaking off. There's still probably another good 3-4 hours on this windshield. But I'm excited because I think it's going to look really clear the next time I drive it. If not, then I can go to a race car body shop, something like that, and get a new windshield, or I can try to put a glass windshield in it. I think I've said that probably multiple times already. It's been days since I started filming this video. For the baking soda polishing step, I just go ahead and sprinkle a whole bunch of it on there like that, around the outside edge, and just work it in. Let it fall down into the cracks when it's dry, and then you can just spray it up with water. The foam will actually soak up quite a bit of baking soda. I was surprised. I tried a bunch of different methods and this one seems to work the best. It lasts the longest before you have to reload it, and it seems to do the most work polishing. There has to be quite a bit of this baking soda on here or it won't do much. It won't really do much. You have to really go at it for a long time to see some actual polishing happening. And with the 2500 on there, those scratches are pretty deep and it's hard for this baking soda to get those scratches out. I should probably get like something like a 3000 grit to go over it after the 2500, but the baking soda is polishing it up nice enough that I don't think I'll be able to notice the scratches. If I do, I can go back across it again another time. Oh crap. Do that when it's not plugged in, by the way. Just spray it up, get it wet. It doesn't have to be soaking, just get it wet so that it holds all of the powder in there, and then hit the windshield too. Just a couple spritzes on the windshield, because if you get too much, this will start just going absolutely everywhere. I set it to 3, push the button, and just go to town. That's after about maybe 5 minutes of polishing. You can see there's no more baking soda left on the pad. This is actually starting to kind of come apart a little bit. But I don't know if you can tell the difference, but you'll start to see streaks of baking soda all over the windshield because it's starting to dry out. So just load this back up again, spritz the windshield, and then just make another 5 minutes pass. Just keep doing it over and over and over until the windshield really clears up. Alright, so we're back on the road with the car, the windshield done, the brakes are fixed. Now we're going to drive into the sun, which you couldn't even see before. And see, out that window, it's hard to see. This is what it looks like now. Now I can see. It's not perfect. I can use a sun visor, but I can actually see through this window now when I drive into the sun. This is about as worse as bad as it would get driving into the sun. And it looks 100 times better. I can still see these streaks and everything, but man, I'm really glad I did this. This is way better. That was a lot of work, bordering on more work than it was worth. I think I got the windshield looking much clearer. You can see through it much better. I know it doesn't look quite like that on camera, but it's a big difference when you're actually in the car looking out of it. But it was a lot of work. I came out of the garage sometimes like, what year is it? It just felt like such just tedious and awful work. I couldn't imagine doing that for a living. No offense to people that do stuff like that for a living. But in any event, it is about as done as it's gonna be. So that puts us at, windshield's done. Next is gonna be the wideband and tuning the carburetor. But polishing this windshield took so long that I decided to split them up into 2 videos. So the wideband O2 and tuning the carb is gonna be in the next one. So that means that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the videos, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.